Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Eve here, coming to you from Sills Motor Sales on an unusually warm winter December day. And I've got some exciting news for you because today, Zack the Master Mechanic is going to do something really fantastic to our 2021 BMW S 1000 RR, you know, the beautiful black one that we're using for the new bike build series. Well, today, he's going to install Samco red hoses onto the bike, and we're finally going to be able to hear that thing start up with its full titanium system. It's got Akrapovic headers and mid-pipe and a beautiful, gorgeous sounding, as we'll find out in a second, SC Project exhaust canister. This is all leading up to us finishing up the bike and then offering it to one of you amazing people for viewing the video. Information on how you can win our 2021 S 1000 RR is down below in the description. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. For returning subscribers, tap that bell and you'll get notified when new content is uploaded. Looks familiar, Zach.
Hey, yeah, we got the bike on the bench and we got some Samco coolant hoses, fresh from Miami. Thanks, Manny.
Yep.
Red in color, matching our black and red theme. Awesome. We have this extra cooler piece made by Performance Technology as well. We're gonna double check fitment, and if it works, we'll cut the red Samco hose and put that on there.
Okay.
And so basically, it's just like, kind of like an extra little radiator. Air is gonna go through it. Anytime air is going past, the coolant's gonna be on the inside. It should help cool it as well as the radiator, so just some extra cooling capacity. And on a hot day, that'll keep your horsepower still working for you. Once engines do need to be a certain temperature, like 200 degrees or so. Once they start getting higher than that, you start to lose horsepower. Once they're lower, you don't have as much, so you want to keep it in that happy range as long as possible.
Okay.
So that's where that'll help out. And we got a new channel sponsor, Engine Ice. We've always used it, but they jumped on board and gave us a bunch of bottles of Engine Ice, so we'll be using that, of course. It'll be ready for up to intermediate level track day pretty much anywhere. All right, we'll start over on this side with the two smaller hoses that get replaced. One is from the reserve tank to the radiator. The stock hose clamps are kind of annoying, but BMW makes a special plier for it that makes them a little easier to work with. Basically, we're just gonna slide this guy off. Always helps if you twist the hose and that breaks the seal, and then it should pull off like so. We got the Samco hose clamp kit as well. I always recommend that. They're just smooth on the inside, so it won't crush or crimp the silicone at all.
Okay.
This is the hose we're gonna use. Going this way. You do need to watch the orientation of these clamps so that they don't get in the way of the fairing. Two clamps on. I think what we want is this clamp to wind up on the bottom like this, so we can tuck it out of the way if we need to.
Okay.
I believe that's the way we want it to go. A little bit of silicone spray helps the hose slide on nicely and makes everything really slippery.
Yeah.
So we can mount our tank back up. We had that off for the frame cover. Should always be a little bit of hose sticking out on the far side of the clamp so that you're sealing it evenly. Shouldn't be right at the end. Just pull this through like that. Find a matching hose from the hose kit. Easy enough. And now we just got to get it to find its way through. Wasn't too difficult.
No.
Pick two of our smaller hose clamps from the kit again. Snug it up just a little bit, and you're going to want it facing downward so that you can get your tool on it. Double check everything. Nice. We are done on this side of the motorcycle.
Oh, wow.
On to the other side we go. Samco, always, in these S1000 hose clamp kits, they send an extra clamp. I don't know why. 4 of these are the same size. Those are the ones you want to use. If you look on the clamp itself, see that 45? I'm guessing that means 45 millimeter. These are all 30 to 40. As you can see, these are all pretty much the same size. This one might be a little bit bigger, but not big enough to justify this huge clamp. So I just have a drawer full of these clamps now.
Okay.
But we're gonna use these 4 that are the same size. This rubber pipe, this metal pipe, and this rubber pipe are all part of the same hose that this is gonna replace. That's also something nice. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that could leak. You only have 2 here. Nice. That's why I like replacing this. That's why, even though this might make it cooler, I don't necessarily like this because we got 2 more spots that could have a leak. Yeah. I'd rather just have it solid. To get this back part off, we're gonna need to cut this band. So we'll use a die grinder in that. Let's see. Oh yeah, this comes off nice. Always more coolant.
Yeah.
We drained it like 4 times. And you can see it's on this plastic inlet piece. And on this motorcycle, the water pump is actually down in the oil pan. Oh. It's kind of weird. On our other S1000s, the previous generation, there was a big water pump on the side of the engine. I think we have one. We'll take a look at it outside. But this one, the water pump and oil pump are all one unit, and they're up in the oil pan. And so when a water pump fails, it's usually a seal that fails, and it lets a little bit of coolant past it. And when that seal fails, then it drips, and it lets you know that it's bad. Well, to tell that it's bad on this bike, you have to get all the way underneath. I don't even know if we'll be able to show it. Let me grab a flashlight and a pointer. If you come down over here, Ebe.
Yep.
And we look right here. See where that cutout is? Can you see what I'm pointing at or no? Maybe?
Yes.
All right, so that's the weep hole for your water pump. So if you notice that there's coolant or oil or stuff puddled up on here, it could possibly be that your water pump seal is bad and or the oil side of the pump seal is bad. So it just so happens we have a bike here that has that problem, so I can show you what it looks like. And we can take a look at the water pump. So this one has the exhaust off, it's a little easier. But look at how this oil pan's coated in oil.
Yes.
And it gums all the way from that divot that we were looking at on the other bike. If you look, if you want to move the camera back there.
Yeah, let's see.
And then, yeah, get a good view of the bottom. You can see that it's like an oil and coolant mix.
Yeah.
And it's dripping from there. So what we have to do is go in and change the oil pump and coolant pump, which looks like a little mini turbo.
It does. Yeah.
Got a fan and everything. So it's driven by a chain right off the clutch. It spins, this pumps the water through. This part does, this does your oil pressure through these O-rings. And then this side is the water pump. So completely different setup from the previous generation. Let's go take a quick peek at that.
Yeah.
Just so everyone understands.
Ah, 2010 Motorsports.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the water pump on all the way from 2010 to 2019.
Yeah.
Remember, they'd all fade and everything, but you can see our coolant hoses here, one's in, one's out. But it's a lot easier to change, that's for sure. You don't have to pull the exhaust and easier to see. You might even recognize that exhaust, huh?
Yeah, that's the
Remember that?
my exhaust.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
That's the HMF Akrapovic hybrid.
Yeah. From my 2010 Motorsports. Unbelievable.
Flashback Friday.
I know. That's crazy. Wow. Sweet memories of that bike.
All right, let's make some sparks. So we got to get rid of this band here. Easiest way I found to do it, cut off wheel. Just be careful, don't cut the plastic. There we go. Take a screwdriver, open it up like so.
Joe to the showroom, please. Joe to the showroom.
And now we're going to replace that with this hose here. This is the inlet. This actually pops off the side of the engine, and that's how the coolant gets into that water pump. Pop 2 new clamps on. We're going to want that one facing down. And this one I think we'll put facing up. can see it has the little half moon cutout or whatever shape you want to call that. Try to line that up as best as possible on our radiator. All right, now we'll tighten up all our hose clamps. I guess we'll push this thing in a little bit so it'll clear our frame slider. All right, everything's snugged up. We're just gonna run the hoses that came with this cooler piece. That way, if it has any troubles for whoever winds up with this motorcycle, we'll send this along. You got the replacement Samco hose. You can just pop it on. All right, so now we gotta put coolant back into our motorcycle, and we do that using what's known as a lift pump. It comes with this gauge, a bunch of hoses. Got a radiator cap adapter, so we hook our radiator cap adapter up, put it on just like a radiator cap, nice tight seal. This hose is gonna go onto this piece right here, and this is gonna go into our coolant jug. We're gonna shake it up and pour our engine ice into here. See if I can do it without a funnel.
Oh. You are a master mechanic.
Yep. Lots of pouring skills.
Yes.
Now it's not going to use all this coolant, but because we need this hose to stay in it at all times, I'm going to put all 3 bottles in.
Okay.
It only really uses about 1.5 bottles. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to hook shop air up to that. Shop air is going to go across this, creating a vacuum. When the vacuum's created, it'll wind up in this green zone here. And then we can let it sit, and as long as it doesn't lose vacuum, that means we have no leaks on the vacuum side of things at least.
Okay.
You would also want to pressure test the system if you did have an issue with leaks. So I'm going to hook the shop air up, and then here, if you want to watch the gauge here, Ebe.
Yep.
When I open this chalk for the air, it's going to put the system under a vacuum. So it's sucking all the air out of our coolant hoses, so I'm going to close that. And that should just sit there. And if we come look at the hose on this side, it's probably sucked in. Yeah, look at our bottom hose. See how it sucked it all in? So it's got this whole cooling system under a vacuum.
So cool.
We'll wait a couple minutes here, or just a minute or so, as long as that doesn't move. It's not moving, so we probably don't have any leaks, at least on the vacuum side.
So cool.
I have had it not show leaks and then have a coolant drip, because once pressure builds up, the pressure pushes the coolant out more so than vacuum does. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open up this slowly because we need to fill this with coolant first. So the coolant's just gonna come across and go out this hose here. And we wanna get out as much air bubbles as possible, so that's good. So you can see we got no air bubbles in here. And now we're gonna go ahead and put it back under a vacuum again. Let's get it in our green zone. It's in the green zone. And then if you watch the tank, I'm gonna open this up and we should see that level drop.
It is dropping.
Yep, it doesn't go super fast, but so all the coolant's going into our cooling system of our motor. It's filling all the passageways around the cylinders and in the cylinder head. That's the reason they have it do it this way. Supposedly those passageways are so small. If you don't do it this way, you'll never get the air out. Probably not true. Eventually the air is gonna find its way out.
Okay.
But this will keep you from having hot spots.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you go in the Wayback Machine, catch one of our bike build videos from like 2017, 18, we had the spill-free funnel, which I usually spilled.
Yes,
and,
I remember that.
We would bleed the cooling system out manually. I really don't see why there's no reason you could do that on this motorcycle, but this is what BMW says to do. So that's what we do.
Okay.
And see we've gone down, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't fill it right up to the brim. We're still gonna have to top it off.
Okay.
But it does all the little passageways.
Is that hose still sucked in on the other side?
No, it should be back looking like a hose.
Yes, it is.
All right, that's good. Yeah, so I think the level kind of stopped dropping. So now we just disconnect everything, top off the cooling system, and we'll be back. I'm gonna put the gas tank on, auxiliary lighting.
Oh, jeez. Woohoo, loud.
We need this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's off.
Yeah.
And I'll pop the gas tank on and we'll see what it sounds like. All right, so as you can see, we used about a bottle and a half of engine ice. That's what we're left with, a full 1.5, because we started with 3. And I got the gas tank back on, tightened up a couple bolts, popped the seat on it. Let's take this outside and see what it starts like without a Bren tune on it. This is no flash.
Okay.
This ought to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Behaves itself pretty well, actually.
Yeah. Without a tune.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yes, it does. That exhaust will start changing colors real soon. The headers and mid-pipe.
I'll go pop on a helmet. Let's see what it sounds like as we go by.
Okay.
Well, it seems to run pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, does it sound good?
Ridiculous. Sounds really good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's tough to get a good true sound coming around the corner there, but
Yeah,
should have a couple of good sound clips. And it felt good just to ride around.
it did.
Not a lot of traction, but that's all right.
Early December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of traction control intervention. But
Yeah.
we'll take it.
But sweet, man. Samco hoses are looking good. The
Yeah.
exhaust is looking good.
It looks pretty funny without all the bodywork on.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, this is going to be phenomenal, though, once we get this all together.
Those two hoses hanging out there
Yep.
look funny. Yeah, but it
Oil
is.
cooler, or coolant cooler. Our extra radiator there doesn't look like it has any leaks around it, so that's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Fantastic, Mr. Zach.
Yeah. So I said that was a successful episode. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Got the coolant hoses on. Thanks to Engine Ice for hooking us up, and with the t-shirts and hats and stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, next time we'll go in and talk about Bren tuning, what it is exactly, why it's different from some of the other tuning, the stuff that we're going to change, why we change it, why it costs a bit more, and what the difference are between the two stages,
Okay.
and why it's something that you would probably want to do, or you almost have to do to a 2021 S1000RR.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, cool,
Well,
man.
I better get back to work. We'll
right,
catch
man.
everyone in the next video.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. You heard Zach, he loves this bike, and a job well done on his part with these Samco hose installation, showing us everything that's involved with that. It was absolutely amazing. And this beautiful half Akrapovic, half SC Project exhaust is amazing. You know, we've got the Akrapovic headers and mid-pipe, and the beautiful SC Project exhaust canister, which sounds amazing. All right, folks, don't forget, you can possibly win this motorcycle. Information on how to do that is down below in the description. Stay tuned for more awesome new bike build series videos. We got some cool stuff coming. Next episode is going to be all about Bren tuning, so you're not going to want to miss it. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you next time on the 650EB YouTube channel.